All right, hello math fans. All right, so we're going to cover two kind of different things today. They're both pretty straightforward. The first thing is you need to understand this is what the question is going to look like. It's going to say for what values of the variable is the rational expression undefined. Okay, it's specifically going to ask that. Where is it undefined? At what values? Okay, so this is the deal. If I have 3 over x, what can't the denominator be? Right? It can't be 0. If it's 3 over 0, if you type that in your calculator, you get an error, which means it's undefined. Okay, so basically, this is huge, people. I'm going to write this out. This is huge. The denominator can't equal 0. So what I'm asking you, where is it undefined? So what you're going to do is, this is the rule, is you're going to set the denominator equal to 0 and then solve for the variable. Okay? It's really easy, but you got to remember that. It's a super easy thing, but you look at the denominator. It doesn't matter what's in the numerator. Okay, so let's actually just do a couple problems here. Again, the question is to say for what values of the variable is the rational expression undefined. So I'm going to have 2 over x plus 5. So again, the rule is you set the denominator equal to 0. I don't care what is up here. I literally set this equal to 0. X plus 5 equals 0. Solve for x. X equals negative 5. That is the answer to the problem. It's easy. Here's another one. X squared minus 2x minus 3 over x minus 6. Okay, again, I don't care what that is. In fact, I am going to cross it off. If that's the question that's being asked, I don't care what the top is, the numerator. I only care about the bottom. X minus 6 equals 0. Add 6 to both sides. X equals 6. That's your answer. That's where it's undefined, at x equals 6. Okay, so here's another one. X plus 4 over x squared minus 9. Okay, again, if you look at the top and you do anything with the top, when I ask that question, I'm going to just mark it wrong. Okay, you are going to ignore the top and you're just going to look at the bottom. And you're going to say x squared minus 9 equals 0. Now remember, when it's a squared term, you can either use the square root method or you can factor. I'm going to factor, and I get x plus 3, x minus 3 equals 0. So x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. Subtract 3, x equals negative 3, add 3. X equals 3. So that's your answer, guys. That's what you're going to put in the answer blank. X equals 3, comma, negative 3, or x equals 3, x equals negative 3. Doesn't matter. Okay? I don't care about the top, just the bottom. Okay, so here's another one. X to the 105 minus 18x to the 7th plus 1 over x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, so again, you look at the top and you go, oh man, it's brutal, but I don't care about it. Who cares? I'm just looking at the bottom. So, and you guys, please be careful when you're factoring. Okay, it's really easy to factor. Now, you've factored many times. You have to be careful. So if I factor this, first of all, you set it equal to 0, and you notice the signs, they're both negative, and it's 2 and 3. And you can check it. It's always good to check it. Negative, it's the outside, it's negative 3x minus 2x is negative 5x. And that's it. Always check the numbers when you're factoring, though, guys. Always check those numbers. Anyway, so that's correct. And then it's x minus 2 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. So add 2, x equals 2, and add 3. X equals 3. Okay? That's where it's undefined. Okay, let's try a couple more here. X squared minus 3x plus 8 over x squared minus 3x. Okay, and again, just remember how to factor, guys. Don't look at this problem and, go, gee, it's two terms, what can I mean, for every problem, you ought to look at greatest common factor. I can't stress that enough. So, again, I don't care about the top. It's x squared minus 3x equals 0. Greatest common factor is x. So, I have two answers. X equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. So that's one answer, and add 3. X equals 3. Okay? Pretty easy. Pretty easy. Here's another one for you. X squared minus 9 over 2x cubed minus 50x. Okay, so again, I don't care about the top, and it's gonna be 2x cubed minus 50x equals 0. Factor out a 2x, and you get x squared minus 25, and you get x plus 5, x minus 5 equals 0. So 2x equals 0. Divide by 2, x is 0. X plus 5 equals 0. So x equals negative 5, and x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so you got three answers for that one. That's what's undefined. All right, so I hope you guys get the idea. And then here's just a real basic one. What about this one? X to the 5th minus 2x squared plus 1 over 3x. That's pretty easy. 3x equals 0. Divide by 3, x equals 0. That's pretty easy. Okay? So that's the first type of problem that you're going to see. Where is it undefined? Okay, the second kind of problem is a little bit different. This is actually simplifying rational expressions. Okay, so simplifying means you're going to maybe factor, do battle, whatever you need to do. But we're going to start with a couple basic ones and then get into a little more complicated ones. Okay, so let's start out with a real basic one here. X to the 5th, y, well, let's make it 4x to the 5th, y to the 3rd, z to the 8th, over 18x squared, y to the 10th, z to the 8th. So basically, remember, this part here, it's just like simplifying. Okay, so it's 4 over 18. That reduces to 2 over 9. That's easy. And the rest of it's battle. Okay, x to the 5th over x squared. Battle, who wins? The north by 3. The y's, who wins? The south by 7. And the z's, who wins? They tie, so they cancel out, and that's your answer. 2x cubed over 9y to the 7th. Pretty easy schmeezy, right? Okay, so that's the first type of problem where there's no adding and no subtracting. So let's try one that's a little more complicated. X minus 3 over x squared minus 9. Okay, well, I'll tell you, I'm going to write this out, and I'm going to write this in red because it is so important. You have to do a ton. Okay, that's a ton, if you didn't know that, 2,000 pounds. A ton of factoring. And I'll tell you, if you see something like this, an x squared minus 9, or anything with an x squared and an addition sign, you have to look to factor. If you choose not to factor and you try to cancel things out without factoring, it won't be right. Okay, you're going to get it marked wrong. So this is the deal. X minus 3 is on top. Factor the bottom. I get x plus the difference of two squares. X plus 3, x minus 3. Now the only way, a couple of things about canceling now. You can only, so I'm going to write some rules down here. One rule is you can only cancel if there is multiplication between terms. So in other words, there's x minus 3. Well, it's all by itself, and then there's multiplication between here. And this is what I mean by multiplication. Okay, multiplication between the x plus 3 and the x minus 3. Okay, so you can only cancel if there is multiplication between terms, and you can only cancel if the terms are exactly the same. Okay, so it's an x minus 3, it's an x minus 3, it's exactly the same, so I can cancel. And my answer, now if the whole top cancels, you got to put a placeholder in there. So it's 1 over x plus 3. That's your final answer. Okay, but these are two huge, huge rules. Okay, so you can only cancel if there's multiplication, and you can only cancel if the terms are the same. So let's do a few more problems here. Let's actually do that same problem. Well, actually, we'll do something different. It's x squared minus 16 over x plus 4. Okay, first of all, this is really bad to do. And I'm going to show you this because I don't want you to do this. When you see that, man, you have to factor. That's unbelievable how important that is. You got to factor. The bad thing to do is this. You go, oh, I can cross off the x squared, do battle, and then that's a 4, and that's a 1. That is like so bad. And the reason is because you have addition between terms. You can't cancel if there's addition. Only when there's multiplication. So let's write that problem out again. Okay, that's going to be x plus 4, x minus 4, over x plus 4. Now there's multiplication between there, and if it's all by itself, that's fine. You can cancel it out. If there's anything else with it, you can't just cancel it out because there needs to be multiplication. So the x plus 4's cancel, and you get x minus 4. And please don't give me x minus 4 over 1. That's really bad. That's like saying, how old are you? Oh, I'm 15 over 1. Okay, boo, you're 15. You're not 15 over 1. Now, it's a different story. Like the last problem was 1 over x minus 3, or plus 3, I don't remember what it was. Okay, that's important. I think it was plus. Okay, that's important to have that 1 here because you need a placeholder. It's like you can't say, how do you say 1/2? You have to say 1 over 2. You can't say over 2. It doesn't make sense. But 2 over 1, you can definitely say 2, and you don't say over 1. Okay, very important. All right, so let's try a couple more problems here. 2x squared plus 8x over 4x cubed. Again, you cannot cancel. There's a plus sign here. You've got to factor every problem that you're going to see. If there's an addition sign or subtraction sign with a squared term, a cubed term, a fourth term, you've got to learn, you've got to factor. It's got to be in your minds. All right? So I'm going to factor, and always think of greatest common factor first. Actually, I should say the first thing you do is you put it in descending order. Then you do greatest common factor. Then you try to factor either by difference of two squares or trinomials. Okay? So I can factor 2x. And if you need to, put underneath it to help you out. So 2x squared over 2x is just x. 8x over 2x is 4 plus 4 over 4x cubed. Now, there's nothing to do with the x plus 4, but I can look at this part right here. Okay, I can cross that. That's a 1 and a 2. And then I can battle the x's. That cancels, and that gives me x squared. So my answer to this problem is x plus 4 over 2x squared. Okay, that's it. And again, don't look at the problem and go, hey, I can cross off the x and the x squared and the 2 and the 4. Nope, you can't because of this baby right there. There's an addition sign between them. You can't cancel it out. I could cancel out here where I originally did because I had 2x times parentheses x plus 4. There's multiplication. Okay, very, very important. Okay, let's try another one here. X squared minus 4x minus 12 over x squared plus 5x plus 6. And guys, you have to be so careful with factoring. Check your signs. Make sure you actually have the right numbers factored. So if you factor this guy, the signs are plus and minus. And the answer that works for 12 is actually 6 and 2. It's minus 6 and plus 2. If I would check it, I would get negative 6x and plus 2x is negative 4x. And that was my goal, negative 4x. Okay, the bottom, the signs are both positive. So it's going to be x plus 2, x plus 3. Okay, and there you go. Now, there's multiplication between terms. Here there's no multiplication, so you can't just go, oh, x squared and x squared cancel. Oh, and there's a 12, that's a 2 and a 1. Okay, that is so bad. There's zero credit if you do that, if you just cancel stuff out. You've got a factor, and then you can say, now there's multiplication. I can cross the x plus 2 out, the x plus 2. My answer is x minus 6 over x plus 3. And the question is, hey, you got an x and an x. Can I cancel those out? Nope. You've got a subtraction sign, and you've got an addition sign. Okay? So you can't cancel anything out, and that is your final answer. All right, here's another one for you. X cubed minus x squared over x squared minus 1. Okay, again, tons of factoring. Greatest common factor for the top, it's x squared. So if you want to divide everyone by x squared, and you get x minus 1 on top, the bottom, that's a difference of two squares. There's no greatest common factor, so you get x plus 1, x minus 1. Now notice, guys, there's multiplication here, there's multiplication here. I can cancel stuff out. X minus 1's cancel. That's all I can cancel because I have x squared over x plus 1. Don't say you can cancel anything with the x because, guys, there is addition right there. So that's your answer. It's x squared over x plus 1. Huge, huge, huge. Okay, let's try a couple more here. What if I gave you a problem like this? 1 minus x over x minus 1. Well, remember, guys, when you're factoring, the first thing you do is you put it in descending order. So the bottom's good. But the top, I need to write as a negative x plus 1. And then I factor out a negative 1 out of there. So I get negative parenthesis x minus 1, right? 1 over negative 1 is negative 1 over x minus 1. Now, there's multiplication actually between here, right? It's like a negative 1 times that. Those cross out, and I have negative 1 for an answer. But here's a little trick. You notice what do you have here, guys? I have 1 minus x and x minus 1. If I have the same numbers and the same variable, and they're just flipped around, and there's minus and minus, it always equals negative 1. So if I have 5 minus 2x over 2x minus 5, it equals negative 1. I mean, I could prove this here. Let's just show that. Isn't that negative 2x plus 5 over 2x minus 5? And I'm going to factor out a negative 1. So negative 1 parenthesis 2x minus 5 over 2x minus 5. Okay? So I can have 80x minus 105 over 105 minus 80x equals negative 1. Okay? Really, really nice. How about this one? 2x plus 3 over 3 plus 2x. Okay, well, that's not a negative in between them. So let's put it in descending order. 2x plus 3 over 2x plus 3. Hey, it's the same thing. Don't tell me it's 0. People like to do that. 2x plus 3 over 2x plus 3, it's the same thing over itself, so it's equal to 1. Okay, so if it's a plus sign, it's equal to 1. It makes sense. All right, if it's a minus sign between them and it's the same number, it's equal to negative 1. Okay, what about this one? 2x plus 3 over x plus 3. And I know it's so tempting. It's so tempting to do this. To cross off the x's, cross off the 3's, my answer is 2. Can't do that. Why? Right here, people. Plus sign and a plus sign. So here, let me rewrite the problem again. 2x plus 3 over x plus 3. Okay, is there anything I can factor out of there? Nope, nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom. Guess what? That's the answer. You can't simplify this one. Okay? Real simple. Okay, let's just do it. Show you a couple other ones. If I have 5x over 5x plus 1, it's so tempting to cancel out that 5x, but you can't. It's simplified right the way it is. Can't do anything. If it was 5x over 5x plus 10, now I can take out a 5 here, and I get x plus 2, and now I can cancel out the 5's because now there's multiplication here. So my answer would be x over x plus 2. Okay, so don't just cancel stuff out. It has to be multiplication between terms to cancel things out. So important. All right? That's all the problems I have here, math fans. Hope you guys learned something today with this. But, obviously we learned two things. One is where is it undefined? And the second is to simplify. All right? That's it, math fans. Have a good day.